Yes. You are the first one here. Good morning. Just kind of finishing getting set up here this morning. Good afternoon, Richard. Today we're going to cover The Data Detective, which is actually the book club book in Discord as well. So we'll be talking about that with whoever shows up to book club at 1 o'clock Pacific today. You can hop into Discord. There's a link below to go if you want to join me. We're going to talk about some Obsidian resources you should follow. And then I'm going to talk about downloading Markdown highlights for Kindle. Downloading your highlights for Kindle. What's up? I don't know. Stuff? Rubik's Cube? Do you know I like to solve these? I did a video about this once. How they were really good for not checking Twitter when you were bored. You just, spent a minute messing with the Rubik's Cube instead of checking social media. It was a productive use of your time instead of the alternative, which is, spending way too much time on social media and getting distracted usually. Not like a speed person or anything, but it's the first step. Get the plus. Keep 2 of them on my desk. This one's just faster. So it cuts better, is what they would say. What people would say. So when it's like this, like not set up, it gets back to better than the other one. Whereas this, a classic, when they're off a little bit, they kind of stick. So, Rubik's Cube trivia for this morning. The Data Detective. Yeah, I deleted Instagram off my phone a long time ago, so I do have something called Grids, which puts it on my Mac. Since my Mac almost never leaves my desk, that's pretty good. I check it probably once a week. I might go into it, but most of the time I just stay away. So I'm just going to review my notes. How are the kids? The kids are okay. My daughter, so my middle daughter, is on some medication to help her make better decisions. She's kind of got ADHD, and she hasn't been eating enough food, and the medication is hard on her tummy. So she hasn't been eating this week and just whining or complaining her stomach hurts every day. That's the thing we're dealing with. She also has like a wheat, gluten, what else? Red meat, stone fruit sensitivities, and peppers. So also like trying to balance between like getting her to eat but making sure she doesn't get too much of this stuff that's bad for her, or else she throws up everywhere. So my oldest daughter is loving skating again this summer. My youngest daughter is just a big cuddle, so ultimately we're pretty good. I think we got on top of the food, made her eat enough that this pill didn't mess with her stomach, because yeah. Good morning, David. I'm just going to review my notes for the Data Detective, and then I'll talk about it. Glad you had a productive morning, Storm Breeze. Mine's just really started. Had some cereal, a little bit of orange juice, coffee and water beside me. That's it. For the biggest thing I figured out this morning is that when I was streaming with my iPad full time, some of you may remember last week I tried to bring in some music and with loopback, and it kind of worked, but I had an echo. I didn't like that. So what I figured out with my iPad streaming setup is I can just play it right off my iPad, and it automatically plays the audio all the time. So that's what I'll do. I saved myself $90. Only because I already have an iPad. If I didn't have an iPad, then I'd have, buying one seems silly. Alright, I think I'm ready to start this. Yeah, I got a Moonlander. I have an overhead camera. I have a Moonlander here. That's my main keyboard. My iPad station is just kind of off to the side. That's an And Pro 2. Those are the two keyboards I use mostly. Moonlander's expensive. It's the thing I don't love about it actually is, can you tell? You can't tell because it's so white, but a couple of the keys over here are getting pretty filthy. Now the nice thing about that is I can just pop them off and clean it. So I need to do that probably this weekend. I'll pop off keys and I'll just throw them in the dishwasher or in with my laundry or something. So in a bag, clearly in the laundry, trapped in like the silverware thing. If I put them in the dishwasher, just a little plastic cap, I'll just wash them, and they'll come back, and then I'll realize how dirty the board of the keyboard is. But even that I could just wipe down pretty easy. I can even pull out all the switches. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. I should do that on stream maybe. Pull apart my Moonlander because I have silver switches for it. Some other time, not today. Some other time. Alright, so let's get started with the data detective. It's going to start and call it 8 minutes. So as usual, I'm going to leave a little bit of silence, record the video for the data detective, and then if you have questions about it or other questions, I'll get back to the chat room for questions. I'll take another sip of coffee. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about The Data Detective by Tim Harford. You know, no, it's silly. I didn't even bring it. Hang on. Let me grab it for my... that book right there. The Data Detective, Tim Harford. Yeah, endorsed by Malcolm Gladwell. Great. I don't always love Malcolm Gladwell's sources anymore, though. He did one on cycling and safe streets, and the cyclist he brought in was Lance Armstrong. Not, like someone an expert in like cycling and safe streets, just some popular cyclist. It was like a famous person bringing in the famous people friends to impress you. So anyways, but The Data Detective, that's a good book. Before we get into that, let's talk about ways to support the channel. So probably the best way to support the channel is to take one of my courses. You can do that by going to curtismchale.ca/Skillshare, and you actually find links to them all below. The one you're most likely interested in if you're watching this is my Zettelkasten course, which there's a link below. That's it. We stream on Fridays right now, 6 a.m. Pacific. Let's get started with the video. So The Data Detective by Tim Harford. Really, we're bombarded by data every day. In BC, we talked about COVID, and we're talking about COVID vaccination rates of the currently eligible people, which is a good term because that's all we can really measure at this point. But it also means that we're excluding a whole bunch of people like any child under 12. And are we using that same data when we talk about vaccination rates of things like measles, other stuff like that? Eligible people also excludes, and has to, people who can't take it because of immunocompromisation. I don't know, one of those words. You got it. And this is where the data detective is helping us to really ask questions about, like, what type of data do we have, and what, like, is the data we're getting really accurate, and how is it affecting us? Now, before we get into the meat of the review, I want to talk about one topic that Harvard brought up called manufactured doubt, which is when any organization or person presents information that gets people concerned about topics that don't have anything to do with that person or organization. So Harvard uses cigarette companies to cite this in the 50s as they funded research on other studies like climate change and other things, with the purpose of pointing out that smoking wasn't the biggest problem we should be looking at. We see this today, but we call it fake news or misinformation or alternative facts. Its whole goal is to muddy up the waters with misinformation that probably doesn't matter, so that we just don't pay attention to the things that do matter. If you want to read more about that, another good book dealing with that is The Death of Expertise, which I have reviewed and will be linked above. So with that concept out of the way, manufactured doubt, which I really liked that concept, let's dive into the rest of the ideas that I'm going to highlight out of Harvard. I was always never highlighting all of them, but let's look into some of the other ideas. So one big trap we fall into is either coming up with data that confirms or refutes information we don't believe. So either that supports us or gives us reason to not believe what we don't believe. If you're a coffee drinker, you don't want to hear any information that suggests your habit is one that's bad for you, right? I am a coffee drinker, and it's hard. You don't want to read information that says it's bad for you. And one big thing Harvard tells readers there is that you need to stop and think about how the data makes you feel. If it makes you feel good about an idea you already have, some belief you already have, then maybe you need to stop and look up information that makes you feel the other way. Next up, what's your personal experience? So one of the rules I stick to is I don't argue about zebras. No zebratic arguments. I'll tell this to people I'm talking with. Sorry, I don't talk about zebras anymore. So living outside of Vancouver, a zebra as an animal is a very rare thing. And when I ride my bike around, I see lots of horses, lots of cows, and I have never seen a zebra. It is certainly possible that sometime in Chilliwack I'll actually see a zebra, but it's essentially impossible. So the thing is, news and most things around us only want to talk about zebras. News isn't even actually about informing us about things. It is merely about eyeballs. Death of Expertise talks about that and how that transitioned to news. News used to tell you what you need to know. Now it tells you what it thinks will keep your attention. In light of this, look at the experience of those around you. While major events like terrorism, they're scary. Almost none of us know anyone that's been a victim of such an event. We're all in far more danger daily from driving cars, from like going to the bathroom. Like, you're more likely to be injured going to the bathroom than in a terrorist event. So why are we scared of it? And I even think of this when people say, oh, like kids and all these bad things that happen to them. Basically, nothing bad happens to children. What really happens is the news highlights anything bad. So, you know, when they have a story about something that it's horrible and something bad happens to a kid, they should also highlight, 3 billion children played today safely and nothing happened. So it's always worthwhile keeping in mind what your experience is and what the reality is for that. Next up, what aren't they telling you? On this site in my videos, I talked about the jam study, which basically showed if you gave people more choices, then they bought less jam. If you gave them less choices, they kind of narrowed their field of view, and they said, hey, this is, they bought more jam if you did that. You'll find the study talked about in many places, even like the Harvard Review. So did you know that looking at all the studies that look at choice, what it comes out to is there's essentially no variation based on choice. That's it. The number of choices don't matter. So don't just take the published statistics, because journals are predisposed to publish zebras. Again, things that want to change our preconceptions. When the follow-up study shows, hey, that thing that we thought was like amazing and wild, it's not actually true. What we all thought was true is actually true. You don't actually hear from those studies because they're not novel. They're not zebras. So you often don't even see the published even retraction sometimes, or the published refutation of a study. Next up, who's missing? Okay, I read a whole book about this, about who's missing, called Invisible Women. I didn't do a video on it, but I did actually write about it, so there'll be a link to that above. And Invisible Women basically talk about all the times that women are excluded from everything, from women presenting in heart attacks differently, so that they totally get missed often, to women, women's needs not getting accounted for in transit system design, because mostly men design them. And so that's one thing to ask when you look at any type of research. Who is missing? A lot of psychology research especially, but a lot of research basically takes college students, because college students are in abundance at the research facilities, colleges. So then we basically have a fairly strong monoculture, especially, a couple of decades ago, of white men in college doing studies and then generalizing that to everyone. And white men are not really everyone, despite what many of them want to think. So if your published claims, make sure you check to who was actually included in the study and who was excluded. Next up, data visualization. Beware of it. This is the infographic. They're very popular. They look really pretty, and they often disguise bad data. There's an interesting one he showed in here where it looked at the Gulf War, and basically they just changed the color of the graph and changed the title, and you went from like, oh my goodness, so many people are dying, to, oh look, people were dying, but it's getting so much better. So just beware. Look at data visualization askance, just because it may lead you astray. Now the biggest one that Harford says, kind of like the golden rule that at the end that kind of overarches everything, is be curious. That's it. Be curious, especially when you're talking to other people who disagree with you. Start asking them why. Like, why do you believe this? What's the backing to your beliefs? And really dive into it. There's kind of, I suppose there's three things, but two main things we hope happen. So number one is maybe you learn something because the person really does know what they're talking about. Number two is maybe they go, wait, I don't know this as well as I thought. And so they say, you know what, I'm not, I don't know this as well as I thought, and maybe you're right. Maybe we need to dig into this more together. And hopefully in those two scenarios, you both come out better people for it. I guess there's the third where they just, you just wasted your time because they're just going to keep yelling at you about stuff. So hopefully you don't encounter that. There are one or two of those people around here that I just ignore and don't talk to about it. Tell them that I don't talk to their accountants, and I say, well, you know what, I'll talk to the doctors about doctor stuff, and if I have an accounting question, I'll ask you. So the question, final one, should you read Data Detective by Tim Harford? I'm going to say yes. You should read this. I didn't cover all the rules, but they were all really good, and it was an enjoyable, well-written book. Alongside it, I'd also recommend Invisible Women and The Death of Expertise. Those are both really good books that touch on some of the same subjects that are covered in here. That's really it. If you like the video, thumbs up below. If you loved it, subscribe, hit the bell. YouTube will let you know what happened, but you should probably turn off your notifications on YouTube anyways, because you got better stuff to do, like read books. If you want to support the channel, best way is to take one of my courses. You can do that if you go to curtismchale.ca/Skillshare. They'll just take you over to Skillshare, where you can sign up and find my courses, or there's links directly below. If you want to talk about books with me, we have a book club. At least as of today, we do. We'll see if nobody shows up on today, then there's no more book club, so I'll mention that in the next video. But you can go to Discord, find the book club there. We're talking at 1 p.m. Pacific today about the Data Detective. Have a good one. 1813. So you're thinking of getting the Moonlander, but the cost pulled me away. I opted for a corn kit. Yeah. The Moonlander is expensive, for sure. I would actually like to build myself a keyboard at some point, to like really build it. But that point's not right now. So I've got like a million weekend projects to do. I've got to put up curtains in my house. I also got to plan a bike trip with my daughter. She need to call and buy the rack for that today. Let me write that down so that I remember to do that. Oh, I got it written down already. Good. I need to go tomorrow and pick up a bike rack so I can put panniers on, because my daughter is 10. She can't carry everything. Can't carry much of all. She'll carry a tiny backpack. And I will carry a tent, all the sleeping bags, all the clothes, all the food, stove. Yeah. So I'll have all my bike packing bags. Bike packing bags are like, so it's a handlebar bag, there's a bag in my frame, and then I'll have a tail bag. That's probably all I need on my own. And I have a little bento, what's called a bento, so it's like on your top tube. It just kind of flops open with food and stuff. But for my daughter, I'll need an extra 60 liters of panniers just to carry stuff for her. Because I'll have to carry her sleeping bag, all that stuff too. I can probably get away with just the other bags, which are more aerodynamic, but she's also going way slower than me. So she always tells me, but I'm so fast, Dad. And she is actually pretty quick, but for a 10-year-old. Which is different. So next up is Obsidian resources you should follow. That I like. Just getting the sites ready so I can do the screencast. On that. I never actually looked. I've heard of the corn board, but there we go. I'll look it up in a second once I get through some videos here. I don't know what type of board I want to build if I build one. This is the corn keyboard. Yeah, so it's similar to what I've got already. Lily 58 is a good option. Oh, the corn, yeah, so I've seen this before. I just haven't ever. Lily 58. Yeah. So here's the big thing. I totally liked investigating keyboards again. But at the same time, I don't think my job is to investigate keyboards. So I will probably not try a whole bunch of other ones because I found one I like. Now, to get to this Moonlander that I have, I did go through, like, what did I go through? Well, the Anpro 2, which I showed you, which I really like. The Keychron, and I have an Acco 3068, I think. So... yeah, Acco 3068. Acco 3068, not worth buying. The Keychron K2, that the kids are using right now on their computer. I like the Anpro 2 because of the programmable layers. I like the Moonlander for the programmable layers. So, apparently the only thing I don't love about it is the white. Honestly, I was like, oh, I should get like a not black keyboard finally. And I wish I didn't. I wish I got, and the key switches are one thing, I can switch those out, but I wish I got a black keyboard to go with it. So I could always spray it some other color. So I do enjoy watching keyboard videos. But yeah. So next up we're going to talk about the Obsidian resources I've really enjoyed that you should follow. Let's see when this starts. I like an ergonomic keyboard for sure. So I've also owned a Microsoft, they call it the Sculpt now, but it was a Microsoft ergonomic years ago, and that was a decent keyboard. My friend Brian still uses it. I've used what else have I used? Some weird Logitech one that was mildly ergonomic, and then probably my favorite for a while was the Kinesis Freestyle Solo, but the switches just die on those so quick. Like once a year I'd lose a keyboard, and they're cheaper, and they're only $100 compared to like $500 for the Moonlander. But I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. The Obsidian mobile app is in public beta. It's just like fully released now, isn't it? Like I just have it installed from the App Store now. And I like it. I use it every day. So I use my Mac for a lot of things, like for streaming, I gotta use my Mac, but I prefer my iPad. Yeah, definitely prefer it. Cool. Let's talk about Obsidian teachers I follow. Welcome. Today's video, we're going to talk about Obsidian resources, Obsidian teachers, Obsidian stuff that I use regularly, that I follow, that I read, that I watch, to really just help me learn more about Obsidian and how I can use it to see other people's setups, yeah, everything like that. Before we do that, if you want to support the channel, best way is actually to take one of my courses at chrismchale.ca/Skillshare. You can go there, sign up, I get some money from that, and then you can take one of my courses. You're probably most interested in the Zettelkasten one if you're watching this. There's a link below to my Zettelkasten course on Skillshare. That's it. Let's dive into the Obsidian resources, Obsidian teachers that I follow. So I just have them set up right here in Safari. And the first one is the Obsidian Roundup email. It is an excellent email. Every week I find more things I want to like read out of it, more things I want, more plugins I want to try, and everything. The biggest thing I'm trying to figure out is how do I get listed in this? Because I thought I did some decent video content on Obsidian. And I just want to... Eleanor, how do I get in this? How do I get on this, Eleanor? Anyway, it's a good one. I can't remember if it's paid or not. Let's sign up. Yep, it's paid. I pay for it. I pay for it all the time because it's worthwhile and there's always something good in it every week for me to follow. Next up, the Suite Setup. Disclaimer, I help build this site and I write for it sometimes. Very rarely am I writing for it lately, but I did help build it and I'm looking at building more with it again. So they have some great Obsidian content lately. From Mike Schmitz, from some of the other people, right? My Obsidian-based Kanban workflow. And there's a bunch in here. Quick notes, transcluding. They have a small little course on Obsidian, also good. I've looked at the course because I can sign in, do what I want here. Good course, and I like the people. Sean's awesome, Mike's awesome. I worked with like everybody there, not just at the Suite Setup, but in other capacities as well. So it is a good resource to look at if you're looking at Obsidian content. Next up, Brian Jenks. He has a good video channel just in general, but this is probably the video that really helped me come up with what I call tag notes. So I've done a video about that. I'll be linking it up above. And the way he uses tags and links in Obsidian to manage his Zettelkasten really helped me just come up with tag notes and adjust how I was going to deal with my notes all the time. Doesn't look like I gave this a thumbs up, but I do really like the video. So there you go, thumbs up. Brian has great content in general. You should follow his channel. So there'll be links to all these channels in the show notes if you're interested in them. Yeah, he's got a bunch. I actually have to watch. This is a 4-hour video, so I got to really dig into this one here. Next up, Asante Younger. I don't love everything he does. I don't watch all of his videos. I definitely watch more Brian Jenks videos than this, but his Obsidian Outliner plugin and overview updates, that was a really good one. When I got the, when I saw Outliner, I started using it immediately because it's great. And he has some other really good ones on how he uses LogSec with that, which I haven't used because I don't really need that tool. But he has some great videos as well there. I think you should just check that out for sure too. Next up, linking your thinking. So Eleanor, this is Eleanor again, who does the Obsidian Roundup email. How did I go on there, Eleanor? Anyway, linking your thinking, another good set of videos by Nick Milo. Check out his channel and just watch what he does. He has some really good resources for you to learn how to use Obsidian, to learn how to use maps of content, and just to really set up a good knowledge management system. This is a good video on turning your notes into published articles by Eleanor. Finally, effective remote work. Justin. Another good set of videos here about how to organize just Obsidian in general. He goes out to a few other things as well, but really he does a lot of stuff on and effectively remote working is kind of his bigger channel, but also how he sets up his Zettelkasten and how he uses Obsidian. And he's got a great channel. I like it. Those are the ones I recommend. Those are the ones I follow. Those are the specific videos, which will all be linked in the show notes in the description for you to check out if you are interested in these extra resources. If you like the video, thumbs up below. If you loved it, subscribe, hit the bell. YouTube will let you know something happened. You can support the channel by taking one of my courses. You're probably most interested in the Zettelkasten course. And there's a link to that in the description below. It goes out to Skillshare. Have a good one. All right, we have some questions coming through. What are we at? 31 minutes. Okay, questions. Quick question. Is it possible to program the caps lock on the keychron to function as the globe key? Isn't it? Yes. It is actually able to do this in iPad. Let's go to settings. Or is it general keyboard, hardware keyboard? This is a per keyboard setting, so go into the keyboard. So you'd go into caps lock as globe right there, right? So the problem I find with this is that I use caps as escape for programming for a long time, and so it's just not programmed in to my memory. But totally possible. Totally possible. I have yet to find a way with like the Moonlander or anything like that to program the actual globe key into like a key on the keyboard. I did try that in one of my streams and just kind of came up with nothing. So yeah. I hope we can get the globe key programmed in just like into the QNX and the other softwares, but at this point it's not there. So yeah, I have to figure something out then. I do like my caps lock escape key. I've been using that for years. Years. Yeah, so globe key brings up the emoji picker, yes, but it also does stuff in iPadOS 15, so it should be... it's not working. So it does stuff like your hotkeys for switching like this. It should do that stuff. And then I can bring in like another app. Let's bring in Obsidian to the side. So it should let you do a bunch of your switching like that. But it doesn't at the moment, or I'm having trouble with the caps lock and globe key on this keyboard. But this is beta software as well. So. And I don't even know the keyboard commands because I haven't used them all. Let me see, command. Should be globe S, should bring up Siri, so let's bring that. I don't know, it's not working right now for me. But honestly, I found I have to restart my iPad like daily to get this to work. So, and I'm Dvorak as well, which always can bring up some extra issues. History for Today channel, eh? Richard? So Richard recommends the History for Today channel.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, there you go. That brought up Siri. Go away. No, I don't want to talk to you, Siri. History for Today. YouTube. Not that one. Man, there's a lot of different channels. I don't know which one to look at then. So iPadOS 15 is in public beta. You can just install it. I found it to be pretty stable. Like as far as day-to-day work, that's worked great. My shortcuts all seem to work just fine. I don't know why my globe key isn't working right there. I don't know. That's it. It could be a few things. I haven't really learned the shortcuts, so I don't even use them on my History 3 today, did I? Oh, there you go. History for Today. There you go. That was easy to find. Easier to find, maybe. Historyfortoday.com. This is the site. So you go, if you want it, I will put it in the right there. Since no one else can put in links and only I can. History for today, behind the scenes, adding notes. You're making me add this, aren't you? Reader. There you go. I'll find it later. I don't actually love Reader as an RSS client. My favorite RSS client is Unread, hands down. No questions. It's just so much nicer, I think. Just looks nicer all around, I think. I like Unread. Quite a while ago, I did a series on, here I have the history for today, on RSS clients and what I liked. And there's just nothing held a candle to this, so that is what I will use. Next up, well, go away. That was my Amazon device. We're going to look at pulling Kindle notes. And this is a video that I liked from Dr. Brad Davis. Nazar, the only thing is I have only one primary iPad. Tried it on. I mean, I have nothing to use. Yeah, fair enough. So, like, I have my iPad here, but I can also just use my Mac. So if my iPad bricked, then I would just use my Mac. And I'd be bummed, but I'd actually have to take my laptop off my desk, because I almost never do. And now I just use Obsidian as an outliner. That's it. I have used... excuse me, a bunch of mind mapping tools before, but I don't use anything now except Obsidian. It's got an outliner tool in it. All right, I have it on. Oh, it's one of the ones that does not work in the mobile app. Most of these plugins work just fine. I do not. Oh, there it is. I have it. Yeah. Okay. So it's turned on. So what does outliner let you do? It lets you do stuff like highlight things, and then I can say fold the list, unfold list, move list, and sublist up and down. Does a bunch of different stuff like that to like let you operate on your list as well. So, and a mind mapping tool. Yeah. I just haven't done mind mapping in a while. It always looks pretty. Oh, I can't even see it because I'm on the wrong. There you go. Now you can see it. There you go. I was on the wrong thing. So the outliner tool, right? I can fold the list. There's a bunch of keyboard commands for it. Move lists and sublists up and down. So I could go like, what was it? Command Shift. Not working. There you go. Switch them back and forth. And do sublists, and then there's the mind mapping tool as well. I just have never really got into it. Browse. Mind map. There's just two of them. And it lets you take like your outline and just turn it into a mind map. So that's good. Yeah, I know they're behind Dynalist, Ken, but I've never really used Dynalist, so I don't even know what it is. It's a list. It's dynamite. That's all I got. I have no idea otherwise. So next up, we're going to do a quick one called 39 minutes to look at taking Kindle notes and bringing them into your Obsidian vault so that you can deal with them. And Dr. Brad Davis, that's why I shared his link, helped with that. Let me bring this up in Safari as well. I don't actually read on my Kindle a ton, but I do when I went out and like when I was camping a couple weeks back. Then it's useful just to take my Kindle Oasis and read on that. And then there's a few series like by Rick Brown, RYK Brown. He's got a big like space series that I really like, and it's only on Kindle. So that's about it. And let's get started with this video. Did I put the start time in there? I did. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about getting your Kindle notes. Oh, I got my Kindle here, so let me grab it. My Kindle Oasis notes, books I read on there into my Obsidian vault. Now, I actually don't read on my Kindle a ton. I read on it when I'm on vacation, when I can't take a whole stack of books. That's about it. When I'm like going to be at the beach a bunch, then I'll read on it. I don't read on it. I mostly just read books, like books you hold in your hand. That's like my to-read shelf is right there above my shoulder. But today we're going to look at it. And thanks to Dr. Brad Davis, a link to it below to the video that kind of gave me this to use. Before we get going, a couple ways to support the channel. Actually, there's really only one way now, because I've been doing a terrible job at Patreon, so I can't really recommend it to you. But you can go to Skillshare, take one of my courses, curtismchale.ca/Skillshare. Search my Zettelkasten course. You can take it. Let's dive in at getting and learn how to get our links downloaded. Don't want my iPad, my main screen. So this is the video from Brad Davis, Supercharge Your Reading with Readwise, with Kindle, Readwise, and Obsidian. It's a good video. Now, he actually uses Readwise for most of it because he reads a lot on Kindle. I don't, so I don't use Readwise. It's like a couple books a year, really. But that's a good one if you want to find out more about it. There'll be a link to this in the show notes. So what you really need to do it yourself is I need to come into Chrome. I'm going to search the Mark download Chrome extension and install it. And I actually already have it installed, but this is what you're looking for. I could remove it from Chrome. I don't want to do that. And then the next thing I need to go to is, what is it? It's not this. It's read.amazon.com/notebook. And then I would go to the book I want to grab and I click Markdown and download. So now I've downloaded a Markdown file. Open when done. What's it going to open it in? I don't even know. I'm guessing Atom. There it is, Atom, a code editor, which isn't my choice, but that's kind of what the default is. That's fine. So I don't do this enough to make it like a big deal. And now I have my notes in here, at least in some fashion. Still gonna have to format them, right? I have my author. Right, it's kind of hard to tell in this. I think that's a quote, right? Note location. Doesn't actually say, oh, I guess yellow highlight location 163. So that's the note. So I don't love that part of it, but if you want to get all the content in there really, like really easily, right? Note location 163. Then this can be a good way. What I actually am probably going to do most of the time still is I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to go through it like this. So what I would do is I'd grab my window, I'd grab Obsidian, put it on that side, hide my sidebars because that's too much. Do I have the productivity project in there? Project. And putting this on the 23rd, so 23/07/2021, 6:40, done. And then put in my book template. So that means I put in my author is Chris Bailey. And then I start going through. So one of the first things we see here is that it has mentioned a book. Getting things done. That's that location 76. So this clearly is going to take more time than what Brad Davis has done. It probably takes more time than what the Readwise integration has done as well. But I would go through like that and I would use it as like a filter. If you really just want the Markdown in quickly, you want plain text in quickly, then you can do Mark Download with Chrome. And that is pretty reasonable. It gets it in there faster. You're still going to have to go through and do some formatting, do some sorting, and really process your notes. Because even if you get them in there, even in Readwise, you still need to go through and process your notes. Do something with them besides just getting them in your database. Don't be a collector, be a connector. That's it. If you like the video, thumbs up below. If you loved it, subscribe, hit the bell, and YouTube will let you know what happened. Support the channel by taking one of my courses. You can find links to all of them below. You're most likely interested in the Zettelkasten course if you are watching this. There's a link directly to that below, or you can go to curtismchale.ca/Skillshare, where it'll just take you to Skillshare and you can take a course. That's it. Have a good one. 45 minutes. Oh, do some more questions. Yeah, so I still just read mostly books in my hand. The Kindle plugin is not supported by Obsidian Mobile. Okay, so let me see what I can tell you on that. I say this because somebody, I think Readwise, somebody just emailed me about, hey, do you want to try out our new tool? Oh, look, I'm live on my own channel. Good to know. Where is it? Community manager at Readwise. I support the community and influencers such as someone like me. So they're looking at a premium Kindle Obsidian integration that'll offer the power features as Evernote Roam exports, automatic continuous syncing, customizable templates, and enriched metadata. So they said, hey Curtis, do you want to try this out? So that's something. It's not something. So it looks like there's going to be a better Readwise integration. Stormbraze, what do you use to program in Obsidian? Which language? And can you tell? I'm not going to do a video on setting that because I don't program in Obsidian. It's HTML, JavaScript, CSS though. So there's probably a video out there on how to do it already, so you don't need me. And I'm not going to do it because I don't do it. Sounds like a cool video, but honestly, I just know I'm never going to do it, so I'm not going to do it. Not even going to put it on my list. But I know someone's done a video about this. Safari. Okay, so yeah, it looks like there's some videos on it. And there's one by Anton Hayward. I haven't watched it yet. I could totally see watching. In fact, I'm going to save this to watch later. Because I'll totally it's good information for me to know just in general, but I'm not going to. It's unlikely that I will develop my own plugin. And there's a forum post about it as well. Let's do this. So I'm going to start some music because I want to listen to music. Oh, am I not getting? Oh, it says my headphones are not connected. There you go. Is the music too loud for you all? Yeah, my watch later list is also some of that, to be honest. Try to reboot my headphones. But I do watch some videos when I'm doing dishes and stuff, so. The videos I watch most are actually StarCraft videos, to be honest. Says my headphones are working. But I'm getting no audio out of any of this. That sucks. No idea why I'm not getting audio. Probably because of this again. I don't have a Mac Mini currently. I have an M1 MacBook Air, 1 terabyte hard drive. Yep, 1 terabyte hard drive, M1 MacBook Air. So I will probably buy something new at some point. This will become my wife's, and my wife's laptop will become their kid's laptop. Did I get the 6? I think I only got the 7 GPU core. New 1 terabyte hard drive. Can't remember if I got the 7 or the 8, but I don't think it matters that much to most people. Yeah, my kids have my, what is it? It's like an i5. I put 32 gigabytes of RAM in it, Mac Mini. My next computer, what I really want, though, is multiple monitor support. A better multiple monitor support, which the M1s don't do. So until we have a Pro or a Mac Mini, it'll probably have to be a laptop. I'm going to have to go to Florida at some point. Once I go to Florida for work, to visit the company that I work for, I will need a laptop while I'm down there, because I'm sure I'll have to work while I'm down there. So, yeah, I'll probably buy a laptop then. Good morning, Brad. I literally just talked about Mark Download and your video. You missed it. So you have to catch it later. I talk about Kindle highlights and stuff. And I was saying, Brad, I don't know if you know this yet, but Readwise just emailed me and said, hey, we're doing a better integration with more power for Obsidian. Something like the Notion Evernote one. So for those that read on Kindle a ton, that'd be interesting. I still haven't decided if I'm going to look at it or not. I am reading another book on Kindle right now, so I could just, read a couple books on Kindle and then really test it out. But they did email me and said, hey, do you want to try it out and give us feedback on it? So we shall see whether that happens or not. What else do I want to talk about? So what I've started doing lately, though, is Day Planner and how I'm using it. So Day Planner is a Obsidian plugin. Day Planner, right? I like it in command mode. There's 2 file mode. It gives you like actual files in your right here Day Planners. Don't use them, so I don't want to. So I use it with my daily note. I was wondering, I haven't seen your videos lately, Brad, so cool, looking forward to them. I will watch them. So what does Day Planner do? So I used to keep the time log in the stream, and I think even last week I showed off these task things. I clearly have none right now. But what I've started doing, and I used to do just like a time code, right? I do through the day. I had a separate meeting thing, although I don't know that I really needed it. I just say through the day, like on my time log, this is what I'm going to do. But what I've been doing now is Day Planner, add Day Planner template to today. So then I do, so what I don't like is I can't just do 0600, I gotta do 06 colon, right? Stream, then 0800, walk and breakfast, 0900. Look, see, it's also showing up on the side now. Perfect. What do I need to do today? I need to do write and email. 0930 call rail support ticket. Oh, you're not even seeing this, of course. There you go. This is what I'm doing. Right, and so I did that with command mode. I brought in Day Planner and said add Day Planner template for today's note right here. And in the settings, I like Day Planner in command mode. I don't use any, well, you can see my settings. I'll plan my day. Call rail support ticket. If I had a meeting, I'd say, and we'll say it's at, it will actually go like this. So if I go meeting, you can see it's got them all right here, right? And then it has some fancy syntax for, let's look it up in Safari. For breaks and for the end of the day, which is interesting. I'll do like a proper video on this later. I'll do a proper video on this later, but like you can actually go through and see break was in there at 11:30. Breaks. Yeah, so they use 24-hour time. I wish you could just omit the colon, but you can't. And there's some special syntax around break, and where does they talk about this? Break and end are keywords that define breaks and end of time tracking for the task. They are not case sensitive, so break and end can also be used. Both break and end keywords are configurable and can be customized in the day planner settings. There you go. So then today, what else do I have to do? Let me see. So I can actually go like this at, just look at my other things. I know that I have at 1 o'clock. So that'd be 1500 book club. All right, and I can even go into Discord now. Discord takes a long time. I actually don't love using Discord on my Mac because it takes forever. Come on, Discord. And I can grab my Zoom meeting, copy. There you go, so I've got that ready. And then I go 14. You know what I actually need to do other stuff and to go probably Sage management, need to work on that, and then at 15:30 day and at 1600 close personal day. So that's my plan for the day, really. I've been doing this like every day for a while now. I'm not going to show you the other days just in case there's, personal stuff in there. But close Markentum day, so I even know like a question in here is ask about timelines for Markentum site and Origin Way, because those are two sites that are coming up that I got to build with my web team that I don't know about yet. I don't have official timelines for them. Close out personal day, and now we need to follow up. Jean Blanc about some stuff on the site. Call about bike rack. He's gonna buy it tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at my things list. There's nothing on here that's terrible. Kind of looking at this list and going through to make sure that I have everything handled. So I use things throughout the day. If I'm like in a meeting and I just need to like capture an idea or task quick, then I'll put that in there. And then I'll actually bring them into a day planner. And so underneath this, like I'll write, so in the stream I want to talk about day planner. Right, and I would take notes in a meeting. So for book club, I might come down here and just take notes and take questions about it. So 1300, I know I'm actually going to go lunch. Actually, I'm probably going to do it at 11:45. And I have a big block in here, and call rail support ticket's only going to take like 09:45. So I'm just going to leave that blank. I don't know what I'm going to do in there. Probably stage management. Again, welcome breakfast, write an email. Yep. That's going to be my day. That's how I've been playing my days lately. And I have been liking it. So I can come in here and just resolve that task. So I've been liking this a lot more than what I was doing before with just doing a time log. And what I need to look into is, can I take the day planner template and have it just start out with my daily note all the time? That'll be the big thing. Can I do that? If I can't, then I gotta just figure that out. What I do, or I just have to start it every time like this. End. So end lets you just say when the day ends, right? So I'd say this, my day ends at 16:30 end. There's a plan for a video on day planner, Ken, for sure. Do I have it in here? I don't, so let's do this. So this is for my course. New note from card. Do content because I'm also totally gonna do it like this. Done. So I'll do this as like a video specifically, but it also means I'm going to have it for yeah, just my long-term course. And so I can see over here, like, I have 61 minutes left of my stream, right? And it kind of gives me a track on the day of where I'm at for the day, which is good. Good to know. So I'm up for questions if you got them. Otherwise, I'm going to go look back at my course for getting started with Obsidian. I do realize there's less and less reason to leave Obsidian. There's just things that's not good for. So I did totally try. I showed you that, right? Like, if I go to my daily note. Oh, there's our dog, my neighbor's dogs. So I did all these queries and I thought, oh, this is totally cool to manage task management. And the truth is, it's just not. It was a pain in the butt. So I don't think that it's a like big task manager. For meeting notes, sure. And tasks that come out of a meeting, I can absolutely put them in here, but I don't think it's like a task manager. I think Things is a far better one. I actually even tried what is it? I tried the new OmniFocus beta. OmniFocus continues to feel like more and more dated software. Stuff like, have it open? I do have it here still. Talked about this last time. Moving a task. Why is it so hard to move a task? So, errands. There's nothing here. Let's just do something. So say I have a list of tasks. Else. So how do I move this task? So in things, I can hit Shift Command M. And it would move a task. Here I've got to hit tab, and now I can go to a new project, right? Now it could be an errand or something. That's one thing. That's just a pain in the butt. I do like that you can actually use file attachments here. So if I took like a picture of a business card for somewhere I had to go, that'd be useful. But things, and then on the iPad, it's just all worse. Like here, I can go Shift Command M and move it on into a project, easy, right? It's actually it's going to be an errand, kind of an errand. The errand will actually be picking it up at the bike shop down the road because they had them when I was there 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's just better. I think it's just a better task manager. Now, for some of the like for project-specific stuff, like I said, my writing, that's good. Like having it in here, having a Kanban board for my writing, totally useful. Yeah, But I don't think otherwise it's not a good task manager. I think task managers do a better job of managing tasks than Obsidian does. It's also good for like my course, right? Right, to see where I'm at for that. This one's actually done. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shadow Slayer asks, I have Zettelcast and notes. I now want file name to be appended with date in other folder. I'm going to keep my Zettel and this second work separate. I have tried templater. I just have a different folder. I don't know what to say besides that. So I have like my client notes are here as like a main note, so I could look at GoDaddy, right? And then I could look at any backlinks that backlink to GoDaddy. There aren't really any at this point. Basically Jekyll blog posts. You just want to keep them in there, and you can, I guess. Or just type in the days. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's, I don't know. I'm not sure that you're going to automate it, and you might just be pushing Obsidian a little farther than it needs to be. So I do when I do my writing. So when I write OmniFocus again, I'm going to just copy and paste the markdown when I'm done this. That's it. So the data detector review, you can, oh, can't see these things. The data detector review by Tim Harford, like I'm just going to literally just copy and paste this out to my site, which also uses markdown. I'm not going to, there's no sync between them. There's no point. Keep pushing it too far there, maybe? Fabrice says, don't you think that the more you can do with that, the less you can actually do? I find Obsidian to be too fiddly and complicated for my taste. Fair enough. Fair enough. Craft can do less, so it's more focused. It doesn't let you fiddle. I think that you have to choose not to fiddle too, though. That's probably a big thing you need to remember. Choose not to fiddle. You got to choose not to fiddle with your stuff. So don't fiddle. That's what I'm going to say. Just choose you're not going to do things. So like I said, I tried to fiddle with task management with it, and I don't think it's going to work. So I spent like probably 3 days being really excited about it, and then decided that was a waste of my time. And I will keep using a task manager for that. So, and the reason I really wanted my tasks to be in there is because this is where I am every day, right? It's really easy to take your task manager things, 3, whatever it is, I don't care, Todoist, tick tick, and just never look at it, and then your tasks get all old. So that's why I wanted, like, in my daily note, oh, if I have my tasks in my daily note, that'd be great. But the truth is I don't, like, it just doesn't do a good job managing them long term. So no tasks in here for me. No tasks in here for me outside of some basics, camping, to order some new elastics for a tent, wax some zippers, stuff like that. Purchase tent pegs. Can be okay for that, for keeping track of things that I don't necessarily want to see. I can be like, okay, what's my house chores for the weekend, right? I got to put up a curtain this weekend. 2 curtains this weekend. Like, that's a useful chore, useful thing in here. But other than that, I don't think it's that. It's not a task manager, so stop using it to manage tasks. Yeah, absolutely. It is an absolute perennial software debate to find something that does everything, or to find something that does just the one thing well. And I think it's just also a cycle. There's times when everyone's like, oh, let's find something that does everything. And then there's times when everyone's like, no, just get does one good job and connect all your different softwares together. So, yeah. So in some ways, it's just an extended version of the video I just did. Fabrice, even crafts is too fiddly for me. I end up using Bear the less I have to decide. Fair enough. Honestly, I always say use what you want to. Bear is a good tool. I used it for a while, and it just didn't click for me. So, and far too many people spend way too much time watching videos about how to do something and never doing anything. So, keep. Yeah. I certainly recommend. So something I used to do when I talked a lot about freelance stuff was if you are like people would like, what's the best billing tool? And they change all the time. Don't change all the time. Find the thing you like, use it. And then when you're first starting out, you can use it for 3 months and then choose something else. And then otherwise you stick with it for a year. That's it. Yeah, and then also like a big thing with task managers, people change task managers and they find the new better one, and it's only better because it didn't take all the crap they were never going to do anyways with them. And then eventually they take their same system with them, and it's still broken because you were the broken part to it. Are there other official resources for Obsidian besides the forum and Discord? Is there like an official Obsidian newsletter? Community. There's only 2 links, so I'm going to go with no. All right. Not even 2. And Stormbreeze, but I talked about the Obsidian Roundup email. That's a really good one to just see what's going on. I just want to get listed on it. Yes, there are a lot of videos about how great new tools are. This is why I don't review, like, people have asked me before, why don't like review some other note-taking tool. I don't even remember what they are. I don't think that's my job. My job is not to review new note-taking tools. My job is to do cool stuff. Like, do interesting things for me. Yeah, there's lots of them on how to do it. Anyway, so I try to show, like, what am I actually doing? What am I actually interested in? And how am I using Obsidian? That's why I want to show you what I'm actually doing, not just, I don't know, I don't want to be in the productivity porn space. That's why most of them, like, why a lot of my videos are how I actually use it, right? So I'll do a video on, like, how I used Obsidian to design my course. Like, I talked about why I use identifiers when I do, I think that's coming up. Talked about it in the stream. Obsidian date stamps, when's that? That comes out today. Just after we finish stream, this comes out. How I use date stamps, why I use them, why I don't use them in some spots. So, and Obsidian tag notes comes out Monday. So this is, like, literally how I use the system, what I do with it. I talk about these in streams. You can probably find them if you go to live. Look at the titles. Can I move this? I think it's this one, probably. I don't know which one it is. Nope. I don't know. I'm live right now on this, so. So I'm going to try to do how I use that system. If you have questions about Obsidian, about how I use it, I'm here to answer them. Otherwise, I'm just working on my upcoming Obsidian course, trying to get through it all. It's taking me longer than I expected, but I'd say a lot of stuff like that has been since I started another job and have less time freedom because I need to, actually show up and do the work I said I'd do for them. It's been harder to get a lot of stuff done. I've read less books. Maybe, I wonder if they have an Obsidian tag. Do they surface their tags? App categories. Oh, that's right. Let's do this. Let's link to the search query. Again, if you have other questions, I'm just doing some work on my Obsidian course. So if you want to ask me a question about how I use Obsidian or task management, or I even talk about cycling, if you really want to, let me know. There's a kid that's awake. So my oldest daughter actually told me today that, or told my wife that, oh, you don't have to do anything tomorrow, Mom. But just today. I'll take care of everything. I'll watch the kids and you can just have a day off, which is super sweet. I kind of expect that I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of stuff for my kids so my wife can have a day off. My daughter's going to do, she's 10. She's going to do a 10-year-old job. I don't see that they have a link just to their new course. Obsidian Kanban workflows and all the email. There you go. 0 to Obsidian. Again, if you got questions about Obsidian, I'm right here. Obsidian made simple. I did actually purchase this course. Do I use GraphView much? Feels like it should have a lot of potential. I have answered this before. I don't use GraphView much. This operates really slow for stream. It does not operate this slow when I'm not streaming. So what do I think it's useful for? I think it can be useful for if I wanted to search. So you're going to see writing idea like right, finding things to read can be good. There's all things that I've marked as to read, or if I wanted to do marriage to read. I think it's got to spell marriage right. That's not right. There you go. Finding some books to read there. That'd be good. Yeah. That's what I think it can be good for. It could also be good for coming in and looking for me at tag notes. This video, my tag notes video comes out on Monday. So you'll find that then, but looking at community, right? Well, like what's a big tag note that has lots of links to it? You can see lots of little blue ones. And feminism is another one I'm linking to more. Coming in and just doing a survey, like what am I linking to lots and what it can be useful. So brown is probably not, it's too summarized, it's just a tag app. Finding my tag notes, so I'm going to talk about this more on Monday, but community is a tag note. It's kind of a collection point for a bunch of stuff right now. Also, I've called them a research dashboard depending on when I'm talking about it. That's what I think it's good for. Otherwise, it just looks cool, so people share it. That's it. But looking at the big, so deep work has lots of links out of it. Barking up the wrong tree. The data detective has a bunch. What's that? Tag note links to COVID-19. So I'm going to look for a writing project. There's a lot of little blue ones though, right? I'd be looking at tag notes. Our Beirut massacre is in there. N equals all. So that's an idea from that I picked up from the data detective. And the idea is that whatever data you have must be all the data, which is just not true. So that's how you get to like invisible women, stuff like that, where they say we don't have data on women because it's hard. So whatever data we have must be all the data and the right to read. Book, that's a status tag. So I don't use it a ton, to be honest. Real serious picture there. One of them long sales pages. So that's one good thing about DevonThink, is that it does have an AI to suggest connections. Just gonna make sure I'm not on a note that is personal information first. Yeah, let's look at this. So it does have this idea right here of what's related, right? So it looks at the content of the note and says, here's the other things that are related to it. So it does have that, and that's why I keep primary resources in DevonThink. So I could always go through and really dig in to identify that. All right, so it brings up the note card system. That's in an older version of my Obsidian database. So you could actually index, right, this is all, yes, this is just a folder on my hard drive, this old. I could actually reduce indexing that. So that's what this means here, is that I'm indexing this folder. How do we remove it? I don't know if I want to move to trash. Index files and folders. There you go. So index files and folders, then I go to iCloud, right? So this is what it's indexing right now, is this Obsidian Vault, but I just get it to index this one instead. Now, I don't actually use iCloud for syncing. It's just kind of like a secondary backup. I sync with Obsidian Sync. So I'd open that. errors. Where did that end up going? iOS fault. I don't want that. I'd want it to put in research. There you go. So now I have my iOS vault, and I could come in here and I could look up books, 12 rules for life, and find out other things that relate to it. Although I barely have any, there's no note in that. What else have I done there? Brief history of misogyny, right? So it recommends Reclaimed as one. The chilling, growing world of male supremacy. That does relate. So I can actually use DevonThink to do some AI work on my notes to suggest other connections. That would mean at some point in your process, you actually have to go into DevonThink and do it and look at it. So let's split. So I will cover that in a more focused version later for you. There is a web component to DevonThink. I don't know if it does the indexing though. I don't know if it does that indexing. I know the DevonThink to go doesn't, but DevonThink to go, like my Obsidian notes, will be in DevonThink to go now. Once I, update and sync it and everything. Not sure I even like that one. What are the most important plugins for me? Calendar, day planner, advanced tables is nice, but I don't use it a ton. I'll use Outliner once in a while. I'll use Outliner more, I guess. Note Refactor I use a bit. I might use Hotkeys++ more even though. Excalidraw. I haven't really used it. I'm talking about this is my course, the plugins that I use. Excalidraw, though. Let's look at it. Because I've heard it recommended a couple times. Brian Jenks recommended it recently. Excalidraw and Obsidian to edit and view Excalidraw drawings. There's a whole bunch of video walkthroughs. Will I actually use it is the question. I don't know that I will use it. I don't do much drawing in my stuff, so maybe not. And it needs to work on iPad. I don't know if it does. It may or may not. But if it doesn't work on iPad, I'm just not interested because it needs to work on iPad. That's it. iPad is my main research tool. I actually use it far more than my Mac for writing, researching, stuff like that. So if it doesn't work on iPad, I'm not going to use it. I think I'm going to wind up the stream now, though. Go get it for a run. Short run. Found out last Friday that my 50K race is on this year. So I have 7 weeks to train for it. I'm actually way less sore than I thought I'd be today, but I ran, 30K this week? Actually, on Tuesday I ran 18K. 10 in the morning, 8 at night. And that was more running than I'd done the previous, 6 weeks together combined. It was in one day. So, tons of biking, but not lots of riding. So my legs are have to transition into this back to running muscles, and they're sore. If I'm going to run today, I'd be 8K. Then I'd run, I don't even know, I'm doing laps on this hill tomorrow for as many as I can in a certain amount of hours. But I think that's it today. Unless someone has a quick question for me before I go. You got just a few seconds to ask it. Good luck on that run. I've seen a wild. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I came around a corner and there were 3 bears just right in front of me, 10 feet away. And I went, "Wah!" and yelled real loud. And they scattered. And then I just kept running because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. The other option was to turn around and run 30 kilometers to get back to the car, or to go straight ahead and run 8 kilometers to get to the car. And I wouldn't even had water. On that 30K run, I had a filter with me, so I could filter water out of the creeks. But I would have had to I don't even know how many kilometers it would have been. It would have been 15K to get more water, and I was already low on water. I'd found from the trail crew a big jug section of case of water bottles up there, and so I had taken 3. I took 3 and filled up my stuff, and then bought them a whole case. And incidentally, a couple years later, we crossed paths and found out about that it was me, and they all laughed and said, whatever. They didn't care because I'd put the bottles back neatly and everything, clearly. Anyway, so I just kept going. Bears are common around here. I don't even think they're that big a deal, to be honest. Probably my best time was I was standing in a parking lot. We were going to go whitewater kayaking, and someone from Vancouver, where it's just more city, so less bears, said, "How often do you see bears?" And I was like, "I don't know, a couple times a year. It's not a big deal." And then a bear walked across the parking lot, and we were again 20 feet away, and they're like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Nothing." Just watch the bear go by. So we did, and that's it. I told them the only other thing that we could do is if it came at us is we run around the single car, because we're not faster than it. We can get nowhere. There's nothing close enough to us. We just run around the car to keep the car between us and the bear. And when our friends come, we jump in the truck. Hopefully the truck scares it away, because they were picking up the cars so we can come back and get boats. That's it. I hate people that carry Bluetooth speakers. Hate it. I don't care if you want to listen to music, but why do I have to listen to your dumb music? I just don't like it at all. So people do that here too, and I hate it. Carry a bear bell. Listen to some music. So put in headphones. I don't want to listen to your dumb music. Actually, there's a whole ton of hiking trails I avoid except in the winter, because then they are more dangerous, less people do them, and the weather sucks. And I avoid them all summer because there's just every third Yahoo has their stupid speaker playing super loud. My video making gear and stuff, do I? It's been a while. I have to use my iPhone to do it. Yeah, I use a... there you go. Stream Deck right here. That's what I'm controlling everything with. So that above is a... Oh, it's a Logitech C920. It's an old one. This here is a Canon 90D with a Camlink 4K. And this is an iPad. It goes into my Kensington Thunderbolt hub. So, and I don't have my iPhone plugged in. Usually I'd plug my iPhone into this cable right here. It's not plugged in, so I can't show you that. And I use Ecamm to stream. That's it. That's like the basics. Well, I actually do it. I was thinking today maybe I should do a desk setup video. Probably the hardest part is I keep my camera pinned here now, and so I would need another, this is like a big light bar thing. So I don't know, maybe I'd have to like use this microphone here, right? Because I keep a mic above me. I just keep it there all the time because I use this for video calls too. Just like I have a tripod. Actually, so this is a little bit of an L desk, but it's not an L desk leg. So I have my tripod underneath the corner of the L here because it's a short L, just for stability. So anyway, that's it. Yeah, we see black bears around here, Jeff. They're small, or they're only they're still gonna kill you if they really don't like you. But yeah, cool. I'm gonna go for a quick road run. Yeah, I can do that. I'll put that down in my writing. Part of the reason I do it like this is I just don't have time to do like full B-roll anymore, other stuff like that. I just don't have time for it. So that'll be one. Kind of want an ATEM so you can copy it. Go ahead, copy it. Kind of want one of these. I probably need this one though. So this is the ATEM mini ISO. The ISO models let produce a file with all your edits in them. So then later on in Later on in Final Cut, you can adjust your edits. And it records all streams separately to a hard drive. The ISO models do. So this one has 4 HDMI inputs, but I have a camera up above. That's 1. I have a camera here. That's 2. I have my iPad. That's 3. And then I have my phone. That's 4. And if I wanted to put another one up here to have like a desk video, like here's my desk in a different angle, then that would be 5. So yeah, that's why I think I might need this one, which has the extreme ISO switchers, which has more HDMI inputs, right? It's got 8 HDMI inputs. And the ISO models you're recording, this can actually stream too. Would the ATEM Mini help me? It would let me do other things. On the software side, I use Ecamm. OBS baffled me. And yeah, OBS baffled me. It just wasn't going to work. And then I edit the videos. I just chop them really. So usually I just, at the end, I'll get a file, and the file will be about 10 gigs, and I just drop it into iCloud, and tomorrow I'll chop them all up. Tomorrow and Sunday I'll chop them all up with LumaFusion. So that's what I do. I chop them all up. I might add captions. I take notes on exactly where the cards need to go, right? So if you noticed in this video, I talked about invisible women. So I already have notes here. Depth of expertise, invisible women. So I'll actually put a time code in there when I'm doing the editing in LumaFusion. That's the real basics of it. So university teacher, there is a guy that I subscribe to, and he is a lecturer as well. What's his name? Wow, I have 102 subscriptions. What's his name? What's his name? Doc Rock does some good stuff on Ecamm. Rob HK does good stuff on LumaFusion. Tom Buck. So if you're an educator and you want to do it, Tom Buck has great videos. He's an educator. I don't even know what he teaches, but he's an educator and he does great videos on lots of different stuff. I highly recommend his channel. And then it's not Callie Lewis, Luria Petrucci. She used to go by Callie Lewis as like a stage name. I forget what but her channel does a lot of good stuff on Ecamm. So I would recommend all of those channels as well. Now I'm really gonna go. I'm gonna go for a run. Say just 8K today. Yeah. But I will do a video at some point for you, Fabrice, about what my setup is so that you can copy it. But I recommend Tom Buck's channel. He does a really good job of like digging into mics and showing how he sets up everything for his education and what he does with it, because he pipes it all into Zoom. So there's actually a virtual cam here. I don't know how to show you this. Zoom has a show mode. Show preview mode. Can I show this now? I don't even know if I can show this. Probably getting too. I don't know. Anyways, preview mode. Can you see this now? No, you can't see it. I don't know how to tell you this. Anyways, it has a virtual camera, so you can do a virtual camera. Yeah, you can do a virtual camera and send that to Zoom, your virtual camera, and then you can just do your live switching into Zoom immediately. So he does something like that. But watch Tom's videos; they're good. Anyway, have a good one. I'm gonna go for a run. Try to behave yourselves today. Catch y'all later.